Hi, this is Marty from Blue Lightning TV. I'm going to show you how to create the look of spray paint stencil portraits from photos. This is an update of a tutorial I did many years ago on an earlier version of Photoshop. This version is quicker and more streamlined. I provided the scrunchy subway tile background that you can download. Its link is in my video's description or project files. Feel free to use your own background if you like. Just keep in mind, lighter backgrounds work best for this effect. Open a photo that you'd like to use for this project. I downloaded this one and the others from Shutterstock. The first step is to place your subject onto the background. To do this, open your Move tool by pressing V on your keyboard and drag it onto the tab of the background. Without releasing your mouse or pen, drag it down and release. To resize and position it over the background, open your Transform tool by pressing Ctrl or Command T. Go to a corner. If you're using a Photoshop version earlier than CC 2019, when you see a diagonal double arrow, press and hold Alt or Option plus Shift as you drag it in or out. If you're using CC 2019 or later, just press Alt or Option as you drag it. To reposition it, go inside the Transform's bounding box and drag it. Then, click the check mark at the top or press Enter or Return. Next, we'll separate our subject from its background by making a selection around the subject. For this example, I'll use the Quick Selection tool. If you're using this tool as well, drag it over your subject to select it. To remove areas outside your subject, press and hold Alt or Option as you drag over those areas. To check your selection, press Q to see it as a quick mask. Revert it back into a selection by pressing Q again. We're not going to refine it since stencils have hard edges. Click the Layer Mask icon to make a layer mask of the selection next to our subject. We'll make a new layer below it by Control-clicking or Command-clicking the new layer icon. We'll fill the empty layer with white, but first, check your foreground and background colors. If they are not black and white respectively, press D on your keyboard. Since white is our background color, press Ctrl or Command plus Delete. We'll convert our visible image into a smart object so we can modify it non-destructively. To do this, Shift-click the top layer to make it active as well, and click the icon at the upper right to open the flyout list. Click Convert to Smart Object. Go to Filter and Filter Gallery. Open the Artistic folder and click Cutout. Make the number of levels 2, the edge simplicity 5, and the edge fidelity 1. Go to Image, Adjustments, and Threshold. The default threshold is 128, but feel free to raise or lower the amount. Next, we'll remove the areas of your subject that you don't want in your portrait. But first, let's save some space in the Layers panel by collapsing the effects. Make a new layer below your subject and fill it with white. Make your subject active and make a layer mask next to it. Open your Polygonal Lasso tool and click around the black areas you want to remove. Fill the selection with black by pressing Alt or Option plus Delete. Then deselect it by pressing Ctrl or Command D. Convert your visible image into a smart object by Shift-clicking the white layer to make it active as well, and clicking Convert to Smart Object. Make 2 copies of the layer by pressing Ctrl or Command J twice. Hide the 2 top layers and make layer 1 active. Go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. Blur it 10 pixels. Name the layer Blur. Make the copy above it visible and name it Lighten. Name the top copy Dissolve. Make the Lighten layer active and change its blend mode to Lighten. Go to the Smart Filter icon and press and hold Alt or Option as you drag a copy of it to the Lighten layer above it. Uncollapse the effect so you can see it, and double-click it to open it. Reduce the radius to 4 pixels. Collapse the Smart Filter to save space. Make the Dissolve layer visible and active. Change its blend mode to Dissolve and reduce its opacity to 20%. Shift-click the Lighten layer to make it active as well. We're going to move these two layers by pressing and holding the Shift key as you press the right arrow key twice. This moves them 20 pixels to the right. Then press and hold the Shift key as you press the down arrow once to move the layers down 10 pixels. Click the top layer and Shift-click the Blur layer to make all of the subject layers active. Convert the 3 active layers into one smart object. Change its blend mode to Darken. Next, we'll create a displacement map that will warp our portrait stencil over the contours of our background. To do this, make the background active and open the Flyout list at the upper right. Click Duplicate Layer. Click New and type in Displace. Immediately, it created a separate document of the background layer. We'll use this document as our displacement map. Remove all of its color by pressing Ctrl or Command-Shift-U. We'll increase its contrast by clicking Ctrl or Command-L to open the Levels window. I'll drag the input highlights to 207 and the input midtones to 0.83. Go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. Blur it 2 pixels. Go to File and Save As. Save it to your desktop as a Photoshop PSD document and click Save. Open back your portrait document and make your stencil active. Go to Filter, Distort, and Displace. Make the horizontal and vertical scales 10, stretch to fit, and repeat edge pixels. Find and click your Displace document and click Open. Next, we'll blend our stencil into the background. Double-click an empty area of the stencil layer to open its layer style window. Move it so we can see our stencil over the background. Blend If uses luminosity to blend layers together. I did many tutorials showing how to use this feature. Basically, this layer corresponds to the active layer, which is our stencil, while the underlying layer is our background. Dragging the slider of the underlying layer to the left punches through the tones of our stencil. However, by placing your cursor directly on the middle of the slider icon and Alt-clicking or Option-clicking it, it'll split the icon in two. Drag the left half of the icon to the left to gradually reveal the background through the stencil. Experiment with the underlying layer sliders to get just the right combination of blending the background through your portrait stencil. This is Marty from Blue Lightning TV. Thanks for watching.